So why Egypt? Well, I mean, because it's incredible. So my girlfriend's parents have always wanted to visit Egypt, and when they decided they were going to go, they invited me, which I'm very grateful for. Now we're here and it's gorgeous. Came in late last night after almost 24 hours of travel. So today we're gonna take it easy, explore local areas, and then tomorrow we're gonna visit over there. I'm very excited for this. So after a day of relaxing and seeing what the iconic Mena House Hotel had to offer, we drove a short distance to visit the Great Pyramids there in Giza. After taking a tour of the complex, we went a little further up for camel rides in the Saharan desert. I'm on a camel right now, with the pyramids behind me. Wow, that's just magnificent. Afterwards, we traveled a bit south to see the iconic Sphinx with a cool view of the pyramids behind it. After a yummy lunch and seeing the first step pyramids at Saqqara, we went to a train station in Cairo, where we waited to take a bumpy Soviet-era sleeper train to our next destination. Through the night, we would ride to get to the charming city of Aswan. Once we got there, we boarded a boat on the Nile River where we were going to spend the next several days checking out the different cities and ancient temples of Egypt by traveling up and down the river. Then, on our second day on the water, we traveled to our first ancient site on the river, Philae Temple, which was moved to the Agilkia Island so that it wouldn't be underwater when the new dam was built in the 1960s. There are influences from so many eras through history at this site, from the ancient Egyptians who built the temples to honor the gods, to the Romans who made some Roman architectural contributions to the Philae, and to the era of Christianity, where you can see crosses inscribed into the walls along with depictions of the ancient Egyptian gods. Afterwards, we made a quick trip to the Nubian village where we came across the people who live there, who look most like the ancient Egyptians of this area before the Arabs came and conquered Egypt in the 600s AD. Now to go to bed because we will wake up very early in the morning so we could travel across the Saharan desert to near the Sudanese border and visit the venerable Abu Simbel temples. After returning to the boat late that evening, we visited Komombo Temple. And early the next day, traveled by horse carriage across the city of Edfu to Edfu Temple. After getting back to the boat by, again, horse carriage, we rested up and sailed further north up to Luxor,
where that evening we visited Luxor Temple and witnessed the gargantuan statues of Ramses II and the giant obelisk. This site was also home to many across the ages, possibly meant for pharaohs to be crowned in, but also the site of a church in 395 AD, and then a mosque in 640 AD, which is still in use today. This makes this a site with more than 3,400 years of continuous religious worship. Then, back to the boat to get some rest. After yet another early morning rise, we boarded a small boat to cross the Nile to the other side of Luxor, where we would go on a hot air balloon ride at sunrise. I was incredibly nervous because I have a small fear of heights, but I have to tell you, as soon as we took off, it felt like we were just smoothly floating through the sky, and I wasn't nervous anymore. It was such a beautiful, peaceful morning, and we had the opportunity to just take in the city of Luxor, the Nile River, Hatshepsut Temple at the Theban Mountains, where we would later visit, and just the peacefulness of the city, green by the Nile River, surrounded by the Saharan desert. And after another early morning rise, we headed to the other side of the mountains to visit the Valley of the Kings. We entered Medemta's tomb, where his chamber was nearly 500 feet down through a vast corridor, ornamented with thousands of hieroglyphs, much of them still with their original color. Impressive. Really hot though, and a bit of a trek. I was sweating a lot. It's amazing to me, firstly, how they excavated all of those tombs and then made them so ornate with thousands and thousands of hieroglyphs across each corridor and each chamber as well. Not to mention the tomb itself. Magnificent stuff. Then we visited Hatshepsut Temple, which we earlier viewed from the sky. Another amazing temple that's just so hot here, but it's really fantastic. Gorgeous, beautiful, and so is the view. All of Luxor, you can see from here, including the mountains in the distance. After another lunch of kebabs, kafka, tahini, and more, we had our last day at the Lotus Hotel in Luxor. Finally, the next day, we visited Karnak Temple, with tons of structures throughout the complex. After a little while, I found myself alone and decided to explore an area where there were no people. So we're at Karnak Temple, and it is absolutely astounding how many structures there are all over the place. This place is a massive complex with tons of obelisks and pillars and statues and pylons made of so many different kinds of stone, and the craftsmanship is just sublime. So I've wandered off by myself, checking out a couple of the temples because there are just so many to see here. And I think we're running low on time, but I'm gonna at least check out this one right here. Then I ran into this guy. Hola.
Hola. Where are you from?
Mexico.
Mexico, and it's good. Welcome, Luxor.
Gracias.
Look, Kenzo temple. Just look here, baboon. Baboon. Baboon or Ramses.
Baboon.
Yeah. Or scholar. Here also is family scholar.
Wow.
And so, look beautiful board here.
Mm-hmm.
Panorama.
Wow. Wow. ¿Para ti un 100? ¿Un 100? Un 100 para ti. No, ya no tengo. No, me tengo que ir. Pero, gracias. Shukran. Okay, so I let those guys just take me around. I told them I was from Mexico, not the US, and I only spoke Spanish to them. Just as a precaution, let's say. So, it's our last day visiting temples, so I figured, what the heck. I'll just tip these guys, because they let me check out a few things that people don't generally get to check out. So, I don't mind having done that. Afterwards, we boarded another boat to go down the Nile to a place called Banana Island, where we would have our last lunch in Luxor. As it was still being cooked, we took a little walk around and checked out a little exhibit of animals they have there. Promptly ate our delicious chicken and probably the best bananas I've ever had in my life. On our way back, the captain of the boat pulled out a drum and started singing a tune with his son. I've always wanted to play one of those drums, so I asked if I could try it.
5 times. Next. Sorry. One here.
Okay.
Yeah, by his hand. Your finger just. Yes.
Both of them, both.
Both, 2, and then just 1. Do this and then 1 here. Yes. Together. Yeah. Yes. Just by finger, not your hand all.
Do you call this the darbuka?
Darabuka, yes.
Darbuka?
No tabla.
Tabla the same.
The same.
I've heard also dumbek. Is that correct?
Back is the sound.
Oh, okay.
Or taraboka.
Sometimes this one bigger.
After that last lovely day in Luxor, we headed to the airport to fly back to Cairo, where we would spend our last 2 days in Egypt before we left the country. Because of some stacked hotel points, we stayed at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel on the Nile in downtown Cairo, a beautiful hotel. The next morning, we visited the Egyptian Museum in Cairo, where many ancient artifacts are kept, including the famous treasures and sarcophagus of King Tutankhamun, the only tomb found at the Valley of the Kings that hadn't been completely raided by robbers. I wasn't allowed to film in that exhibit. Seeing King Tut was incredible. When I was a kid, maybe around 9 or 10 years old, the King Tut exhibit was touring, and they came to Dallas, Texas, which is where I was living, and I saw it when I was a kid, and I have seen it again now at the Egyptian Museum. I'm really happy to have seen it now in its place of origin, its original location, because it's just, man, a magnificent piece of art. It's so fantastic. After checking out more cool artifacts, including a pyramid capstone that's likely derived from a meteorite, we went to our last site of the day, the gorgeous National Museum of Egyptian Civilization, which had more artifacts, beautifully ornate pieces of Islamic history and culture, and a whole section underground that held 22 mummified kings and queens from Egyptian pharaonic history. And I wish video was allowed in there to show off here, but if you travel to Egypt, you must visit all of those mummies at that museum. It's so eerie to see how well preserved those people were, but it really is magnificent. Later, we visited a bazaar in central Cairo to have our final excursion. I came across a store that was selling instruments, and since I'm trying to collect an instrument from the places I travel to, I haggled my way into buying a darbuka to bring back to the US. After some yummy hawashi for lunch, we headed back to the hotel for some downtime. And after one final day in Egypt, it was time to leave, back to the US. I had such a great time in Egypt, and if you find an opportunity to do it, I highly suggest visiting at least once in your life. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care.